I hinted at the possibility of making this video earlier in the week, and you guys showed a lot of support on the videos, so I decided let's go ahead and talk about the teams that can trade for Mookie Betts. Now, yes, every single team in Major League Baseball, they probably want Mookie Betts, but I'm gonna go ahead and narrow it down to the 10 teams that probably have the best chance of getting him. I'm basically looking for the teams that have the best prospects or MLB-ready guys that they can trade for Mookie right now. Also, you see that thumbnail? See the Photoshop skills? Oh, the jersey swap's looking fresh. As always, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Give me your prediction as to what team you think Mookie gets traded to, or maybe, just maybe, he stays with the Red Sox. And of course, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMark. Links in the description down below. I'm always talking baseball over there. So if you didn't see my video from a few days ago about whether or not the Red Sox will trade Mookie Betts, I think that they're going to end up doing it this offseason. I think it's the smart decision, but essentially the Red Sox just don't have the money to pay Mookie and get upgrades on their team this offseason, so they got to make a decision. I think they're going to trade him, so let's go ahead and talk about some teams that have a good shot of getting him. First up, let's talk about the San Diego Padres, who have shown that they have a willingness to spend some money. Now, there's rumors that they're going to be going after Strasburg this offseason, which would probably halt the Mookie Betts trade because, let's be honest, they've got about $500 million tied up to Manny Machado and Eric Hosmer for the next couple years. If they get Steven Strasburg, they get Mookie Betts. That's even more money on the books. I don't know if they're going to be willing to spend that, but let's just say they don't get Steven Strasburg. I think they have a really good chance of getting Mookie Betts. The Padres farm system is absolutely loaded. You're not touching Mackenzie Gore. That's one player the Red Sox won't get. Luis Patino, one of their top pitching prospects, number 2 in their organization, number 30 in the top 100 in all of baseball. He's a possibility. Will the Padres want to give him up? That's the next question, but that's probably who the Red Sox would want if they can't get Gore. They've also got Hunter Renfroe, who I don't think is a great player, but if you're losing Mookie Betts, you need to get another bat out there in the outfield. I think Hunter Renfroe is probably your best choice. Manuel Margot, not very good. They could also maybe try to get Taylor Trammell, although I don't necessarily know how many prospects the Padres really want to give up. They traded away Franmil Reyes and a couple other players to get Taylor Trammell. I'm not sure how quickly they want to get rid of him. And then, of course, the Red Sox need another middle infielder. They don't really have a second baseman. Xavier Edwards, who had a really nice season last year in the minors for the Padres, is another option. He's the number 4 second base prospect in all of baseball, number 72 in the top 100, so he definitely has a lot of talent. He's a little far away from the majors. That's the one big problem. So maybe the Red Sox will want more of a Luis Urias. Not necessarily sure what they'll be able to get. And then maybe also Kirby Yates. Kirby Yates' contract expires at the end of the season. The Red Sox need a closer badly. They're not going to be able to spend money to go get a top-tier guy. Maybe this trade you can throw in a Kirby Yates. I think the Padres have probably some of the best offers that they can give to the Red Sox. It's just a matter of whether or not it will happen. For this next team, I'm going to keep it out in the National League West. We got the Los Angeles Dodgers, who it's crazy to think, but there is a possibility that the Dodgers could get Mookie Betts. Don't count them out, that is for sure. The Dodgers have a super crowded outfield to begin with right now, but they can alleviate a little bit of that with trading Jock Peterson possibly to the Red Sox. Kind of a man without a position there in LA. He's playing a little first base, a little outfield. Could help out the Red Sox in both scenarios. I don't see Gavin Lux going into trade. I think the Dodgers are pretty much like, you're not touching that guy. But maybe a Dustin May, maybe a Josiah Gray. The Dodgers do have a lot of minor league depth with a lot of talent. I could really see the Dodgers trying to make a push, throwing a lot of prospects at the Red Sox, grabbing another absolute stud outfielder. I mean, imagine that outfield. Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts on the same team. That's not fair. And I think the Red Sox would be getting a pretty good chunk of change back. So yeah, it might sound a little bit crazy, but I don't think it's out of the possibility here. I'm going to switch it on over to the American League now. There's not a lot of teams that I see the Red Sox trading to in the American League, but I think the White Sox are probably one of the American League teams that has the best chance to trade for Mookie Betts. I don't really see the White Sox being a front runner, but they do have a lot of options to trade. Now, you're not touching Luis Robert. There's no chance the Red Sox are getting him. Red Sox fans, if you thought you are, there's no shot. And their best pitching prospect used to be a Red Sox player in Michael Kopech. I'm not necessarily sure if the White Sox would, 1, be willing to even trade him, or 2, if the Red Sox want him back, especially coming off Tommy John. What is interesting, though, is Nick Madrigal. He is the number 40 prospect in all of baseball, number 3 second baseman, and he might be ready to play in the major leagues next season. One thing about him is he puts the ball in play. The dude almost never strikes out. He struck out 16 times last year in 473 at-bats. I mean, that alone is pretty impressive. Not to mention, he's just a good player. He's not going to be a superstar. He's not going to be an MVP. But for the Red Sox who need a second baseman, you might be able to get your guy of the future here. On the major league ready side, the White Sox don't have a lot that they can trade to the Red Sox. So that's kind of what holds me back on this trade. It's just I don't necessarily see a lot of different options that the White Sox can trade in order to get Mookie Betts. But the Nick Madrigal, if the White Sox are willing to give him up, which I doubt they are, he could be a big piece in this. I'm going to move back to the National League now, talk about my favorite team, the New York Mets. Do I think they're going to get Mookie Betts? it's gonna be pretty impossible. But Brodie Van Wagenen has shown in the past that he likes to get a little bit creative with how he brings in players, and although he said Noah Syndergaard is not going to be traded this offseason, he could have been lying. Because I think right now, if you're the Mets and you offer Noah Syndergaard to the Boston Red Sox for Mookie Betts, I don't know how the Red Sox say no. You have more control over Syndergaard for less amount of money than you do Mookie Betts. It addresses a big problem that the Red Sox have, which is their starting pitching, and you're also moving money off the books. You're giving yourself more space. This might be one of the more matches made in heaven. For the Mets, you'd have Mookie Betts manning center field, him, Conforto, McNeil, Nimmo, JD Davis, Pete Alonso. That's a really good lineup right there on the offensive side of the baseball. Not to mention Mookie Betts is one of the best defensive outfielders in the game. This would benefit both teams for that trade straight up. I could see them maybe throwing in Edwin Diaz at some point as well, because I think the Mets are done with him. If they can move him, they're going to try to. But I think the probably most fair trade would be Noah Syndergaard for Mookie Betts in this scenario. They swung and missed on the trade last year. I don't know if they're looking to do a blockbuster trade again, especially giving up Noah Syndergaard. Staying in the National League East, this is a team that scares me a bit because the more and more I think about it, the Braves could really get Mookie Betts. The problem is they're going to be held at ransom because they got a loaded farm system that fits exactly what the Boston Red Sox need. Now, call me crazy here, but I think if Mookie Betts gets traded to the Atlanta Braves, they're going to need Christian Pache, who is one of the top prospects in all of baseball. He is the number 11 of the top 100, number 3 overall outfielder. The dude is an absolute stud, but I think the Red Sox would probably start by asking for him, and they'd want a little bit more too. If they're not going to get Pache, they're definitely going to get Drew Waters, who, by the way, not too shabby either. 23rd overall prospect in baseball, 6 outfielder, and he's pretty close to MLB ready, both of those guys. And then the Braves also have a ton of pitching in their minor leagues. They've got Ian Anderson, Kyle Wright, Bryce Wilson, Kyle Muller. Those are their top 4 pitching prospects in their farm system. Anderson and Wright fall in the top 100 prospects in baseball. Maybe package in a Touki Toussaint. I could really see this one happening, and it terrifies me as a Mets fan because imagine adding Mookie Betts to that Atlanta Braves lineup. Heck, they'd probably even throw an Ender Inciarte too, be like, yeah, take him off our hands. We're not going to need him. We're going to have Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman. What? That team's nasty. Please don't do it, Boston Red Sox, but you might get your best bang for your buck. The Cincinnati Reds, they've kind of been in the rumor mill about maybe trading for Mookie Betts. We saw a lot of the aggressive moves that they made last offseason to clear some guys off the books. They added Trevor Bauer at the trade deadline to help that starting rotation. They got Sonny Gray. They got Luis Castillo. They've got a nice pitching staff. We can't lie about that. The problem is their offense is lacking. Now, Aristides Aquino was a nice player that came up at the end of the year, showed a lot of promise, has crazy pop in his bat. They have some bats there, but they need a few more, and Mookie Betts would be a really nice piece to add. Just not sure how much they're going to give up for a rental in Cincinnati when they could probably be looking more forward to the future. But then again, they kind of have all their chips in for 2020, 2021. Now, I don't think Hunter Green's going to be available. I think he's pretty much untouchable for the Cincinnati Reds. There's no reason they should trade him, and I don't think that they will. But the 2 pitching prospects that I could see the Red Sox being interested in are Nick Lodolo, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and Tony Santillan. Now, Lodolo is the higher rated prospect in the Red system. The problem is he was drafted last year, so he's not MLB ready just yet, and I think the Red Sox need some guys who are more MLB ready, where Tony Santillan fits into that better. Now, is he going to be the guy that takes that Red Sox rotation to the next level? Absolutely not. He won't be that player, but I think they're probably looking more towards the future, and you are shedding a lot of money off the books if you're trading with the Cincinnati Reds. Almost all the guys you'd be going after cost nothing. Now, if you go after those pitchers, they're probably going to want some other players as well. Jonathan India could be a name that's thrown in the mix. I mean, Mookie Betts is one of the top 10 players in baseball. They need a lot back for him, even if it is for a rental. Jonathan India could be that guy. He's technically a third baseman, but he projects as more of maybe a second baseman in the major league level. His performance in the minors hasn't been what's expected, so maybe you could get in there and buy him low. And then I think the Red Sox might want another pitcher. Maybe you throw in Amir Garrett, who they have control over for a while. He's going to be a reliever. Maybe they could sculpt him into being the closer of the future. He pitched really well this year, and let's not forget when he took on the entire Pittsburgh Pirates team. It's going to be tough for any team that trades for him, but the Cincinnati Reds definitely have a good shot, I think. It feels like pretty much every team in the NL Central might have a chance of getting Mookie Betts, well, except the Pirates and the Brewers. But the Cardinals, I think, have a shot as well. They have some MLB-ready talent in a guy like Tyler O'Neill, who can make a difference out in the outfield for Boston, losing Mookie Betts. They have some pitchers that they could give. Alex Reyes at one point was a highly touted prospect. Some injuries here and there have taken him down a notch, and he just hasn't been up at the major league level as consistent as you'd like. But the dude still has some really good stuff and would probably be a pretty solid piece for the Red Sox to add. They could maybe ask for Dylan Carlson, who's a top 100 prospect in baseball. Number 24 in the top 100, 7th ranked outfielder. They could ask for Carlos Martinez. The Cardinals have a lot of options. The problem is they don't have a real clear second baseman. I don't think they're going to trade Colton Wong, and I don't think the Red Sox would really be trading Mookie Betts to try to get a player like Colton Wong. But there is no doubt that the St. Louis Cardinals have a really nice package that they can send to Boston for Mookie Betts. Will it happen? I doubt it. How good would the Cardinals be if they get him? Pretty good. Now, this one might be the craziest one I include in this video, but keep an eye out for the Washington Nationals, and here's why I say that. The Nationals got Carter Kieboom, and as crazy as it would sound for the Nationals to try to trade him, I think he might fit well with what the Boston Red Sox need. We know the Nationals are loaded with pitching. Even even losing Strasburg, they still have a pretty solid rotation. So they could give up some prospects in the minors that are pitchers. And I think I could see them maybe moving a Michael Taylor and Adam Eaton, because you're not going to have room for these guys, especially to play right field when you're going to have Mookie Betts out there. This is probably the one I'm least confident on, but watch out for the Nationals. The more and more I think about it, especially if they lose Anthony Rendon, they're going to want to make a splash. They're going to need to get an impact back. Why not Mookie Betts? It's crazy, I know. I feel like they could sneak in as one of them. Let's talk about the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's have a legitimate chance, I think, to get Mookie Betts, and we've seen the Red Sox and the A's work together before in trades. We've seen John Lester go to the A's. We've seen Yoenis Cespedes go to the Red Sox. Why not make another deal together? Because it actually might work out. Now, Jesus Luzardo, good luck. You're not touching him. But AJ Puk, you might be able to get AJ Puk. He's the 42nd ranked prospect in all of baseball, a top 5 pitching prospect. Left-handed, throws heat, devastating slider. His big issue, of course, is injuries, but he pitched in 10 games at the major league level this year. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be ready to be a starter, but AJ Puk is definitely a talented player that they could go after. They've also got Jorge Mateo in their farm system, who plays middle infield, would fit in that second base spot. He would be able to make an impact right now. The dude is MLB ready. He had a really good season in AAA. I think there's a possibility that the A's could go make a push for Mookie Betts. I mean, those are just the big name guys that would be probably in the forefront of the conversation, but there's a lot of different combinations of players that I think works out for both teams. They've done trades in the past before for big players. It's actually not that crazy when I think about it. Yes, the A's don't spend a lot of money, but they've shown that they will take big name players for a year. Mookie Betts might be that guy. And then as for the last team that has a chance of maybe getting Mookie Betts, the Chicago Cubs, don't feel good about this one, but you can see how it could possibly happen. Don't think the Cubs necessarily want to give up Nico Hoerner, but if you could get Mookie Betts, that's clearly an improvement to the team. The outfield is definitely not super strong in Chicago. I mean, they had Albert Almora Jr. He's not panning out. Schwarber has his power. Hayward's good with the glove, but they don't really have a complete player out there, especially if they don't get Nick Castellanos. Obviously, if they sign Castellanos, this won't even be a possibility. But let's say they miss on Nick Castellanos, right? Why not try to get Mookie? Trade Nico Hoerner, who can play second base. Yes, it will leave you a hole there, but you'd be getting Mookie Betts. That's a pretty good player. So you trade Nico Hoerner. Wilson Contreras has been considered on the block. Would you consider a Wilson Contreras package for Mookie Betts if you don't want to trade Hoerner? Adbert Alzolay, I mean, that's one of their better pitching prospects, along with Braylon Marquez, but Marquez really isn't MLB ready, so Alzolay would be the top choice. He has MLB experience at least right now and can go right into that rotation. I think it's highly unlikely the Cubs do this. And again, these are all just rumors in this video. Like, I have no actual idea what's going to happen, but you can see a possible way that Mookie Betts could find his way to the Windy City, and maybe not with the White Sox, maybe with the Chicago Cubs, which would be a crazy move. That would be like a blockbuster move of this offseason. Oh my goodness. Mookie Betts and the Cubs, crazy. So those are the 9 teams that I think have a chance to trade for Mookie Betts. I would love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Which team do you think trades for Mookie Betts? Or maybe you think nobody does. Maybe you think he stays on the Red Sox the entire season. This is all just offseason hype. We're all going crazy. If you did enjoy this video, leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support, as well as subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content. This was probably one of the tougher videos to make because it's so hard to speculate with trades. Like, there's just so many guys. You have to do so much research. You don't really even know what teams mean. Some guy might be untouchable, some might not be, but then they might trade him. So this is just me having a conversation. Please don't take any of this as fact. All I know is I am so excited for the rumor mill to start going. Give me some news, give me some movement, give me some free agent signing, something, because the offseason, it needs to be better than last year, that's for sure. That's gonna wrap up today's video. I hope you guys really did enjoy it. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video, as well as this is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you all for watching, guys. I do appreciate you, and I'll see you all next time for another video. Bye.